Welcome back to Decoded Love Psychology. Have you ever looked at a woman's behavior and thought, she's clearly not interested in me? Maybe she takes a long time to reply. Maybe she seems distant one day and warm the next. Maybe she talks to you but rarely initiates. Maybe she smiles at you but then suddenly becomes quiet. Maybe she watches your stories but never sends a message. And eventually, you start asking yourself one frustrating question. Does she actually like me, or am I just imagining it? Before you make that decision, watch this entire video, because sometimes a woman who appears uninterested is genuinely not interested. But sometimes what looks like rejection is actually hesitation, uncertainty, caution, or simply a different communication style. And understanding the difference can save you from making two very common mistakes. The first mistake is walking away from someone who actually wanted to know you better. The second mistake is continuing to chase someone who has clearly shown that she doesn't want a relationship with you. So today, we're going to break down the psychology behind female interest, mixed signals, emotional hesitation, communication patterns, and the signs that can help you distinguish genuine interest from polite friendliness. And the first thing you need to understand is this. Not every woman expresses attraction the same way. Some women are extremely direct. If they like you, you'll know. They'll initiate conversations. They'll ask questions. They'll make time. They'll flirt openly. Other women are much more subtle. They may become shy. They may wait for you to initiate. They may show interest through small gestures rather than obvious statements. And some women may be interested but still uncertain about whether they should move closer. That's why judging interest based on one behavior can be misleading. A delayed text doesn't automatically mean rejection. A short conversation doesn't automatically mean disinterest. A woman being quiet doesn't automatically mean she doesn't like you. You have to look at patterns, and that's where things become interesting. Let's start with one of the biggest misunderstandings. You think she's not interested because she doesn't text you first. This is one of the most common mistakes people make. You send the first message, then you send another, then you start thinking, if she really liked me, she'd message me first. Sometimes that's true, but not always. Some people simply aren't natural initiators. They may enjoy talking to you, but still rarely start conversations. Maybe they're cautious. Maybe they're used to the other person initiating. Maybe they're busy. Maybe they don't want to appear overly eager. Or maybe they're simply not someone who sends many messages. That's why the better question isn't, who sent the first message? The better question is, what happens when I start the conversation? Does she respond with energy? Does she ask questions? Does she keep the conversation going? Does she remember things you've told her? Does she seem genuinely engaged? Does she make an effort to continue interacting with you? Those signals are more useful than simply counting who sends the first message. Because interest isn't always about initiation, it's also about reciprocity. If you constantly initiate and she consistently gives you one-word answers, never asks anything about you, avoids meeting, and makes no effort to continue the connection, that's very different. That's a pattern, and patterns matter. Now let's talk about another confusing behavior. She takes hours to reply. You send a message. You see the message delivered. You wait. 30 minutes, an hour, 3 hours. Then you start checking your phone every 5 minutes. And eventually you think, she must not care. But here's the reality. Response time alone is a terrible measurement of attraction. People have jobs, classes, family responsibilities, friends, stress, different routines, different texting habits. Some people are constantly online, others barely look at their phones. Some people love texting, others hate it, so don't turn a clock into a psychological test. Instead, pay attention to the quality of the interaction. When she does respond, does she engage? Does she give thoughtful answers? Does she ask follow-up questions? Does she laugh? Does she remember previous conversations? Does she continue the discussion? Does she eventually agree to spend time together? Those things tell you much more. Because someone can reply instantly and still have zero genuine interest, and someone can reply later while still being genuinely interested. Quality matters more than speed. Now here's where many men get confused. A woman is warm one day and distant the next. What does that mean? It could mean many things. Maybe she's uncertain. Maybe she's stressed. Maybe something happened in her life. Maybe she's trying to understand her feelings. Maybe she likes you but doesn't know where the relationship is going. Or maybe she's simply having an off day. The mistake is assuming every change in mood is about you. You don't know what's happening in someone else's life, and assuming the worst can cause unnecessary anxiety. If she is consistently inconsistent over a long period, that's worth noticing. But one distant day means almost nothing. Look for patterns over time. Now let's discuss one of the strongest indicators of interest: effort. When someone genuinely wants to know you, there is usually some level of effort. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It can be simple. She remembers something you said. She asks how an important event went. She sends you something because it reminded her of you. She agrees to meet. She suggests another day when she can't make the first plan. She continues conversations. She laughs with you. She finds reasons to stay connected. These small behaviors can tell you more than dramatic flirting, because genuine interest often appears through consistency, not necessarily intensity. That's an important distinction. Intensity can be misleading. Someone can flirt heavily for 1 week and disappear the next. Consistency is different. Consistency means I keep showing up, and that matters. Now imagine you ask a woman to meet. She says, "I can't this weekend." Immediately, you think, she rejected me. But wait, does she suggest another time? If she says, "I can't Saturday, but I'm free Wednesday," that's very different from, "I can't," and then nothing. The first response communicates a willingness to find another opportunity. The second may communicate low interest. Again, you're looking for reciprocity. If someone wants to connect but genuinely can't meet, they often find another way to continue the connection. If someone repeatedly rejects plans without offering any alternative, you should pay attention. That's not necessarily about playing games. It's simply information, and you should respect it. Now let's talk about eye contact. People often hear, "If she looks at you, she likes you." That's far too simplistic. Eye contact can mean many things: confidence, politeness, attention, curiosity, friendliness, attraction. You can't determine romantic interest from one glance, but repeated patterns can be more meaningful. For example, she repeatedly looks at you during conversations, smiles naturally, maintains comfortable eye contact, and seems engaged when you're around. That may indicate she feels comfortable and interested in interacting with you, but even then, it's not proof of romantic attraction. It's a signal, not a guarantee. That's the difference between reading behavior intelligently and creating a fantasy. You don't need certainty from one sign. You need multiple pieces of information. Now let's talk about body language. You might notice that she faces you when you're talking. She leans slightly toward you. She mirrors some of your movements. She smiles frequently. She appears comfortable standing near you. Again, none of these behaviors prove attraction, but they can indicate comfort and engagement. And comfort is important. If someone is consistently uncomfortable around you, avoids interaction, creates distance, or repeatedly tries to leave conversations, that's information too. Pay attention to both positive and negative signals. Don't only look for evidence that confirms what you want to believe. That's called confirmation bias, and it can destroy your ability to judge situations realistically. If you already want her to like you, you'll notice every positive signal. You'll ignore every negative one. You might think, "She looked at me. She liked my post. She smiled. She replied. She must secretly like me." But then you ignore the fact that she never agrees to meet, never asks about you, and repeatedly avoids deeper interaction. That's not objective observation. That's wishful thinking. So ask yourself, am I reading her behavior, or am I interpreting everything in the way I hope is true? That's a powerful question. Now let's talk about social media. This is where modern dating becomes especially confusing. She watches your stories. She likes your post. She views your profile. Maybe she even reacts to something. You think she must be interested, not necessarily. Social media engagement is weak evidence. People scroll, people tap, people watch stories automatically. Someone can enjoy your content without wanting a romantic relationship, so don't build an entire relationship around a story view. Real world effort is stronger evidence. Does she want to talk to you? Does she make time? Does she enjoy being around you? Does she reciprocate your energy? Those things matter more. Now, here's an important concept. Interest and readiness are not always the same thing. A woman can find you attractive and still not be ready for a relationship. Maybe she recently ended one. Maybe she's focused on work. Maybe she's dealing with family issues. Maybe she simply doesn't want to date right now. Maybe she's emotionally uncertain. This doesn't mean you should wait indefinitely. It simply means attraction doesn't automatically equal availability.